Oral questions.
Oral questions. Questions orales. Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Pierre Poilievre.
The Prime Minister is in Mexico today for a photo op and fake agreement, but it's a great opportunity to compare because both countries are neighbors of the United States. In the last quarter, Canada's economy shrunk by 1.6%, while the Mexican economy grew by 2.4%. The Canadian exports to the United States crashed by 18%, while Mexican exports to the U.S. are up 1.4%. Wow. And the Canadian unemployment rate is 3 times higher than Mexicans. Wow. Will the Prime Minister ask his Mexican friends what they're doing right that he's doing so wrong?
Right here.
That's good.
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
Mr. Speaker, this Prime Minister believes in having a strong relationship with Mexico, our second biggest trading partner. That's exactly why he is in Mexico today, meeting with the President to make sure that we can have our trading relationship really on par. Now, the other thing that the Leader of the Opposition needs to understand is that we're living in a much more dangerous and complicated world with trade tensions having impacts on trading partners all around the world. We will stand up for workers, we'll stand up for our businesses, and we'll build Canada strong.
Yes, of course.
Leader of the Opposition.
This is the time in the life cycle of any Liberal government when they go from making promises to making excuses. So they're blaming their collapsing economy on global tensions. But interestingly, Mexico shares the same neighbor as we do. We're both right next door to the Americas, so we can compare performance. But in the most recent quarter, the Mexican economy has actually grown by 2.4%. The Canadian economy down by 1.6%. Our unemployment is three times what theirs is. Why?
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
Mr. Speaker, what is shocking from the Leader of the Opposition comments is
not
always
answering
talking
the question.
down Canadian workers.
Not answering the question.
The Canadian economy. You know what? Good news is the Bank of Canada yesterday reduced rates. We should all be celebrating that. This is good news, Mr. Speaker. And we will be there for businesses in the tariff sectors, including aluminum, steel, auto, copper, and all the other sectors, because we know that these workers are important, these businesses are important, and we have a plan to build Canada strong.
Wow. No answer.
Leader of the Opposition.
We support workers, and particularly the 86 million workers who have lost their jobs because of Liberal policies who are collapsing our economy. Question. Mexico has grown its economy by 2.4%, while Canada has seen a shrinking of 1.6%. Mexican imports to the U.S. have gone up, where ours have lost, are down by 18%, and their unemployment is 3 times lower than ours. Why? The Honourable Minister of Industry. Clearly, the Leader of the Opposition doesn't know what he's talking about.
Of course.
Because when we look at the Canadian economy right now, interest rates are down. The Bank of Canada has announced 2.5% for its key rate. It's good news for all those who have homes or are on the point of buying one. Right now, we know we have to work with Mexico and also the U.S., but our strategy is not only to build strong Canada, but also to look to other trade partners in Europe and Asia, and also in Mexico, of course, as well, to grow our economy.
Yeah, they're trying to go behind Trump's back.
We've had a free trade agreement with Mexico for almost 3 decades. So the Prime Minister is going for nothing more than a photo op, another fake engagement. Just like the Minister talks about interest rates, the Bank of Canada said the reason they're cutting rates while inflation is rising is because our economy is collapsing. They promised the fastest growing economy in the G7. They've delivered the fastest shrinking economy in the G7. Yeah. They promised more home building. It's falling by 13%. They promised to spend less. Their deficit spending is 100% more. You know, talk is cheap, but why is it so expensive when this Prime Minister does it?
That's a good one.
Honourable Minister of Industry.
We know that the Leader of the Opposition believes in isolationism, which is basically that Canada is by itself in the world. We believe that need to engage in the world. We need to make sure that Canada is working with trading partners from Mexico, from Europe to Asia. And that is why the Prime Minister will continue to travel to make sure to engage with leaders of this in the world, because we believe that it is the way to build a strong economy at home, save and protect jobs, create new ones, attract foreign direct investments, and ultimately to make sure that Canada's voice of peace and multilateralism is heard in the world.
Oh, these people are nuts.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, we've had free trade agreements with all of those countries and regions for over a decade. And yet the Prime Minister is busy, looking busy, flying around, grip and grin, pretending to do a lot while doing
I trade with
very
Mexico's
little.
on a risk.
But he could make use of all of that expensive travel by asking all of those other places why their economy is so much stronger than the one that he now leads. He's got, under his leadership, the second highest unemployment in the G7, the worst economic growth in the G7, the worst household debt in the G7, and the worst household debt and housing costs in the G7. Why is it that when he promises to be the first, he's the worst?
The Honourable Minister of International Trade.
Mr. Speaker, as we look at what's happening with global trade headwinds, we need to step up as a country and be there around the world to make sure countries know that we are here. They want to deal with a reliable, stable trading partner. It's our 15 free trade agreements with 51 different countries, access to 1.5 billion consumers that countries rely on, that Canadian workers rely on. And that's why the Prime Minister will be there to make sure we're opening up new markets for Canadian businesses and workers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, these aren't new markets. The member might have been asleep. Actually, he seems like a very young man. Maybe he wasn't born when Brian Mulroney negotiated NAFTA with the Mexicans. Maybe the Prime Minister was sleeping the day Conservatives negotiated a free trade agreement with the Europeans. He's going around taking credit for things that he never did while his economy collapses here at home. Canadians cannot eat, heat, or house themselves. Will the Prime Minister stop making excuses,
so
taking
triggered by
fake
that.
trips, and get down to his job?
Oh, that's great. There you go. There you go. We miss Pierre in the house.
The Honourable Minister of International Trade.
Mr. Speaker, I won't go to personal attacks as the member opposite has.
That wasn't a
Focus on
personal
facts.
attack, you
There's people
chump.
watching in the gallery. I think it's very important to note that Canada and Mexico share over 30 years of strong friendship and economic partnerships rooted in trust and trade and mutual respect. In fact, Canadian direct investment in Mexico was over $45 billion in 2024. The Prime Minister will be meeting with President Sheinbaum to defend our industries and grow our economies, Mr. Speaker. Canada is committed to CUSMA, and we're actively collaborating with Mexico, and that's why the Prime Minister is there to make sure.